What if I told you that the $5,000 handbag people fight to buy cost less than $200 to make? That the gold watch flaunted as a symbol of success is built in the same factory as watches 20 times cheaper, and that the brands people worship are not selling product at all, they are selling permission to feel worthy. We live in a world where people chase logos more than logic, where validation is stitched in monograms, where a piece of leather can make you feel superior or invisible, and behind every bag, every belt, and every glittering logos, there is a machine built to control your deepest emotion, your self-worth. Luxury brands have built an empire not on quality but on psychology. They have turned insecurity into an economy, desires into dependency, and your identity into their product. Most people believe luxury means quality, that the price reflects craftsmanship, that it's a reward for success, but the truth is far colder. Luxury does not reflect your worth, it manufactures it. Every logo you see is a silent whisper saying, "You are not enough until you own me." Luxury is not sold in stores, it's sold in your mind. It lives inside the part of you that want to feel seen and respected. And brands know exactly how to feed that hunger, one price tag at a time. Because the most profitable product in the world is not gold, not diamond, not leather, it's insecurity. Every billboard you pass, every influencer post you double tap, and every limited edition drop is not designed to show beauty, it's designed to show you what you don't have. They don't sell handbags, they sell belonging. They don't sell watches, they sell time itself. They don't sell fashion, they sell fantasy. This is not a story about fashion, this is a story about psychological warfare. Because luxury have never been about the product, it's about power. And the people who understand that don't buy brands, it builds them. So let's get started. Before luxury became a logo, it was a craft. Long before the flashing cameras and billion-dollar brands, luxury lived in the quiet corners of old Europe, in the hands of artisans in the Hall of Kings. Every item was made for someone specific, not for everyone, not for display. Luxury was once about mastery, not marketing. It was not meant to impress strangers, it was meant to honor skill. In 1854, a young French craftsman named Louis Vuitton opened a small workshop in Paris. He did not dream of building a billion-dollar empire. He dreamed of creating a perfect travel trunk. His designs were revolutionary, durable, elegant, and precious. He built them for Napoleon's wife, Empress Eugenie, not because she was rich, but because she demanded perfection. That single commission changed history. Louis Vuitton's trunk became a symbol, not just of craftsmanship, but of royal approval. From that moment on, something shifted. Luxury stopped being about how well it was made and started being about who it was made for. Quality was no longer the product, status was. The elite wore luxury to show the power. And soon, the world learned to copy them. When the Industrial Revolution began, mass production flooded the world with cheap goods. And suddenly, exclusivity became the ultimate currency. The fewer people who could have it, the more powerful it felt. Luxury became the art of exclusion. It was no longer about owning something beautiful, but about owning something other could not. Then came the rise of the brand. Name turned into the symbols, logo turned into the flags. Gucci began as a luggage maker in Florence, serving the wealthy travelers of Europe. Rolex was born in London in 1905, obsessed with precious, built for explorers and aviators. Chanel redefined women's fashion, turning rebellion into elegance. Each of them started as artisans, but they discovered something far more profitable than craftsmanship, which is aspiration. Luxury brands realized if you could control what people desire, you could control who they become. You did not need to sell the product, you could sell the dream. And that's when the psychology began. They began to shape an idea that beauty meant worth, that elegance meant superiority, that owning their product meant you were part of a different world. And slowly, luxury became less about what you wear and more about what you were not. The 20th century gave birth to the consumer dream, and luxury houses evolved into psychological empire. They learned that people did not just buy things, They bought identities. They did not crave the handbag, they craved the feeling it promised, which is confidence, power, and belonging. Luxury had found something more powerful. Make people feel ordinary, then sell them the illusion of being extraordinary. And that's when the obsession began. In the space between who you are and who you wish to be. Because in that space, luxury saw it opportunity. Once upon a time, luxury was handmade. But today, it's mass produced but emotionally exclusive. But the question is, how do they make you desire something that does not make sense? The answer lies in the next chapter, the psychology of desires. We think we buy luxury because it's better, high quality and lasts longer, but that's not truth. We buy it because it changes how we feel about ourselves. Every brand in the luxury world, from Louis Vuitton to Rolex to Gucci, does not sell a product. They sell an identity, a story about who you become the moment you own it. When you wear a $10,000 watch, you don't check time, you announce it. When you buy a Gucci bag, you are not paying for leather, you are paying for how it makes you feel when people look at you. Because deep down, every human has a silent hunger, the hunger for significance. And luxury brands have mastered how to feed it. They know that we don't buy things for utility, we buy them for emotions. That every purchase is a statement, a message to the world and to ourselves that we matter. But here's the dark truth. Luxury is not designed to make you feel rich, it's designed to make you feel incomplete without it. Every advertisement, every store, and every limited edition drop is carefully engineered to remind you that you are not enough until you wear this logo. That's not marketing, that's psychological manipulation disguised as aspiration. They don't just target your wallet, they target your ego. Because once they own your ego, they don't need to sell you, you will sell yourself. You will defend the brand, you will justify the price, and you will convince others it's worth it, just to protect your identity. That's how a handbag turned into self-worth, a watch turned into status, and a brand turned into belief system. This is what psychologists call the status loop. It starts with insecurity, the feeling that you are not enough. Then come aspiration, the belief that something outside of you will fix that. You buy it, you feel powerful, but it fades. And the moment it fades, you start craving the next one. A deeper luxury, a louder logo, and a new hit of validation. This is not commerce, this is addiction. An addiction carefully designed by the peoples who understand human psychology better than most therapists. Behind every ad campaign, there is a team of behavioral scientists, psychologists, and neuromarketers. They study your dopamine spikes, they test colors, words, and faces that trigger desires. They track how long your eyes linger on a logo. They know how to make you want not the product, but the person you think you will become after buying it. And once they plant that image in your mind, you will chase it for life. But here's the crucialest part. Luxury does not just sell status, it sells insecurity wrapped in beauty. The same system that makes you feel powerful is built on making you feel powerless without it. Because if you ever truly felt enough, you would not need them anymore. And that's their greatest fear, a customer who wakes up. So the next time you see that glossy ads, don't just ask, do I like this? Ask yourself, what part of me are they trying to own? Every religion begins the same way, with belief. Belief in something higher, something powerful, something that can give you meaning. And that's exactly what luxury has become. A new kind of faith. Not in God, but in status. We don't wear brands anymore, we worship them. We visit stores like temple. We treat limited edition like holy relics. The logo is the new cross, the store is the new church. And the followers, they are not called believers, they are called consumers. Luxury does not just sell you things, it gives you rituals. The ritual of baiting, the ritual of unboxing, and the ritual of showing. And just like every religion, it has hierarchies. The rich, the ultra rich, and the chosen few who get access to what no one else can buy. They call it exclusivity. But what it really is, control. Because once a brand decides who's worthy to own it, they don't need to sell the product anymore. They sell permission. Permission to belong, permission to feel superior, and permission to exist in a higher class of humans. But here's the dangerous part. Once belonging becomes the goal, you will do anything to keep it. You will spend what you can't afford. You will chase approval you will never get. You will wear your worth on your wrist. And if someone question it, you will defend the brand like it's your belief system. That's not consumerism, that's devotion. Luxury brands study old religion more deeply than you think. They borrowed the same psychological architecture like symbols, myths, rituals, and followers. The Rolex is a symbol of achievement. The Gucci logo is a modern icon, repetitive, worshipped, and copied like scriptures. They created meaning where there was none, and then sold it to you for a price. But behind the gold and glamorous lies something darker. Because every cult needs two things: faith and fear. Faith that buying will make you somebody, and fear that without you, you are nobody. That fear is the engine that powers the entire system. It's what keep you scrolling, what keep you buying, and what keep you believing. You don't follow the brand, you follow the feeling. The feeling of being admired, of being envied, of being seen. That's why it works, that's why it is spread, that's why it feels holy. Luxury does not need a god, it already has one, you. Because the moment you worship the reflection, they have already won. Now, what if I told you, you are not chasing success, you are chasing visibility. Not real wealth, but proof of wealth. Because in this world, it's not enough to be successful, you have to look successful. And that's where the real game begins. Luxury brands did not build this game alone. Society finished it for them. Every time you scroll, you see someone richer, prettier, and better. Every post whispers the same message: you are not enough yet. And that single thought is the fuel that keeps the entire system alive. Because comparison is the most powerful currency ever invented. Not dollars, not gold, not crypto, but attention. The average person does not buy to own the thing, they buy to signal. Signal power, signal success, and signal safety. A gold watch is not time, it's a message. A luxury car is not transport, it's a story. A bag is not leather, it's an identity. Every product becomes a line in your autobiography. A silent announcement of your worth to the world. And once world decide your worth is visible, you stop living for yourself, you start living for perception. Luxury brands know this. They don't sell to individuals, they sell to insecurity at scale. They studied what humans crave most. Not comfort, not quality, but admiration. Because admiration feels like love. And love is the one thing money can't directly buy, unless you discuss it as status. That's why you see people who had rather rent luxury than own simplicity. Why they had rather impress strangers than feel peace. Why they had rather appear happy than actually be. We have created a culture where self-worth is public property, measured not by who you are, but by what you show. And the higher you climb in this game, the more it costs to stay there. Because the price of maintaining image is far greater than the price of image itself. You can lose money and recover, but once you lose your status, you disappear. That fear is the invisible chain. The reason people work jobs they hate, buy cars they can't afford, and pretend to be fine when they are falling apart. Luxury is not a product, it's an performance. And every performance needs an audience. The moment you stop caring who's watching, the illusion starts to die. That's why the system can't let you disconnect. It feeds you new desires. The second you fulfill the old ones. The bag is never enough, the watch is never enough, the validation is never enough. Because the game is not designed to end, it's designed to continue. And yet, somewhere deep down, you already know this. You feel it every time. You buy something that does not fill you. Why do I still feel empty? The truth is, status is not a reflection of who you are. It's a projection of what you fear. Fear of invisibility, fear of significance, and fear of being forget. And that's what luxury really sells. Not beauty, not class, but security in a world designed to make you doubt yourself. And until you stop playing the game, you will always be a pawn in someone else's empire. At some point, every mask breaks. The shine fades, the apologize stops, and the mirror show you the face you have been avoiding. You thought you were buying happiness, but what you were really buying was distraction. Distraction from loneliness, from emptiness, from the fear that without the level, you might no matter. Luxury promise permanence, but everything it sells is temporary. The feeling, the attention, the validation, they all expire. And when they do, you realize how hollow the pursuit really was. Because luxury can fill your wardrobe, but it can't fill your soul. We live in a world where people chase the image of success until they forget what success even means. They work to buy things to impress people who are too busy scrolling to even notice. And in the process, we trade peace for performance, we mistake luxury for love, validation for value, and attention for achievement. This is the real cost of luxury, not the price tag, but the identity debt. The more you try to appear worthy, the further you drift from who you are. Until one day, you realize you have built an empire of glass, perfect from the outside, empty from within. The human mind can't live without meaning. When brands replace beliefs, we replace purpose with purchase. But purpose can't be bought, it has to be built. And here's the paradox. The moment you stop trying to prove your worth, you begin to find it. The moment you stop performing, you begin to feel. The moment you let the illusion fall, you begin to see what's real. Luxury taught you to look rich, but simplicity teach you to feel rich. One is an illusion of power, the other is the discovery of peace. There's nothing wrong with beauty, nothing wrong with art, nothing wrong with wanted better, but when desire becomes identity, it becomes an prison. Because the real luxury is not the bag, the car, or the name, it's freedom. Freedom from needing to prove, freedom from chasing validation, freedom from the illusion that worth must be worn. The system wants you to keep buying your reflection. But the truth is, you never need it. You were enough before the logo. In a world that worship image, the rarest thing left is authenticity. Luxury once meant gold, silk, and exclusivity, but now it's something much harder to find. Peace. Because peace is the only thing you can't fake. You can stage happiness, you can display wealth, but you can't manufacture stillness. And that is the real luxury. Freedom from needing to impress, freedom from chasing apologize, freedom from defining your value by what you bear. Luxury was never about the object, it was always about the feeling. And that feeling does not come from possession, it comes from perspective. The truth is, you can't buy confidence, you build it through meaning. You can't buy elegance, you earn it through peace. You can't buy respect, you command it through authenticity. Everything luxury promised to give you, you already had the power to create. The world taught you to chase symbols, but symbols fade. They always do, the house ages, but what stay is who you become when the noise ended. Real wealth is being able to wake up without needing the world's permission to feel enough. That's the kind of success you can't measure and you can't fake. Because freedom is not about having more, it's about needing less. Luxury brand sales dream of power, but real power is silence. The kind of silence that doesn't need validation, that doesn't need recognition. You don't need to escape luxury, you just need to see it for what truly is, a mirror. And when you stop worshipping the reflection, you start discovering the reality. And that is the real luxury. Thank you so much for watching the whole video. If this video hit you, please hit the subscribe button. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.